Good morning.
It's so glad to see you all here today. I'm trying to be on my heels to give you some height. My name is Dr. Pinkney, like he said, and I am a OBGYN at Women's Care of Hartsville over there by Carolina Pines. I'm currently in the practice with Dr. Robinson, Dr. Daniels, who may be some familiar names, as well as Linda George. And it's myself and Dr. Wadsworth that are there right now, okay? So I would love to see you all. We're always accepting new patients, all ages, shapes, sizes, colors, everything. So please come out and see us. I'll have some cards available. Unfortunately, my team couldn't make it today for a prior event, but just come holler at me afterwards, all right? Okay, I'm going to see if I can move so I can see. Okay, so the goal of my talk is Healthy Mom, Healthy Baby. Anytime we are approached with a pregnant mom, we always want to make sure that you all have the best outcome and your baby has the best outcome. But in reality, pregnancy is a marathon. Many people think that it is a completely benign condition. I get pregnant, I have my baby, and we're all good. But pregnancy can affect you from your head to your toe. Literally, you have people losing their hair, people's shoe sizes changes. There are plenty of things that happen. So this presentation is to talk about how we can prepare to have the safest delivery for you and have the best outcome for your baby. All right, so goals. First, we're going to talk about preparation for pregnancy. What do we need to do? We're going to talk about the trimesters. What does that mean? Why are we talking in weeks when I know how many months I am? We're going to talk about medical conditions that affect pregnancy. We're going to talk about common causes of preterm delivery. And then I'm going to have you all to get some questions for you to ask your doctor so you can build that relationship and you can have a better understanding of it. Okay, I don't know if this clip. Oh. So this right here was supposed to be a clip. So back in 2022, there was a 100-meter race. And there was a country that had never had anyone to enter the race. So they put this young lady right here into the race. Hey girl, go run. All right, she hadn't done any training, she hadn't done any of the marathons, but they wanted to have someone to compete in the 100-meter race. And so what she did was she got out there and she ran her best race. Everyone else finished at 9 seconds. She crossed the line with a little skip at 21 seconds. So just trying to show you all that without proper preparation, she looked a little silly out there in the Olympic field trying to compete with these Olympians. So this is how we're going to try to prepare you. Who is your team? Okay, so if I'm saying this is a marathon and this is a journey, who do you have on your team? Who is going to help you to get across this line? So in your care team, you'll have an obstetrician gynecologist like myself and Dr. Coughlin. You can have certified nurse midwives. You can have a very popular term these days called a doula, which I'll break down for you. You can have a lactation consultant and your labor and delivery nurse. All of those people account for your team, including your family and your loved ones, of course. This right here is a picture of me with my team from Memphis. I work with a group of midwives in Memphis, and they have their own birth center there, where I used to come from. All right, about me. So like he said, he told you all those things. Nothing new. I'm a D-Town girl. I graduated from Mayo. I played basketball for Darlington High. I'll be at homecoming. We're going to homecoming. Woo! Yeah! And so now I'm back in Hartsville practicing, which I love. And that's me and my best friend. She's an OBGYN as well. That's our first time scrubbing together or doing a surgery. All right, so a midwife. So everything on TikTok and Instagram, midwife. Get you a doula. Love it. There's plenty of room at the table, but not everybody is qualified to be a midwife, and not everybody is qualified to be a doula. So whenever you enter a relationship with a midwife or doula, please check their credentials. What have they done? So a midwife is a certified nursing midwife. So most of the time they go into school as a nurse, they have a background in nursing, and then they do separate training to become a midwife. They are responsible for handling low-risk deliveries. So if you are overall healthy, your pregnancy is going well, they're the ones for you. They're also more of a comprehensive approach. So instead of your appointments with with your obstetrician and gynecologist being 10 to 15 minutes, most of your visits with them are about 45 minutes to an hour, because not only are they sitting there talking to you about your pregnancy, they're also educating you on different topics. There are midwives that perform deliveries in the hospital, and there are midwives that perform deliveries at home. Again, check their credentials. Don't just find somebody on TikTok and say, I'm going to go in here and deliver this baby at the house, unless you know that they're able to do so. Some of the midwives are also able to provide full scope obstetrics and gynecology. So our midwife, and then we have another midwife, Carrie Smith, not only do they do prenatal care, but they also do some of the GYN business as well. So a doula, raise your hand if you heard of a doula. One, okay, not too bad. So a doula I like to think about is like a pregnancy coach, your pregnancy cheerleader. So she has some medical knowledge, but she's not responsible for giving you medical advice. She is your sounding board. She's the one that's helping you to understand what the obstetrician or the midwife is saying, but she's mostly there for you, to coach you, to guide you, to help you with breathing exercises, and to be a voice of support to you all throughout the pregnancy. So you have some doulas that work with you just during prenatal care. You also have some that are nighttime doulas, so they come in at night and help you with those things. But again, ask them, where is their certificate, okay? Because you want them to have the proper training. Dr. Coughlin, I can't get to you. Your doula is going to be the first on the slide. So just check with your hospital to see if your doula can be included in your delivery. All right, training. So we talked about our team. We got us an OBGYN. We got us a midwife. Maybe we have us a doula. So now what do we need to do? How do we need to get ready for this pregnancy? Find you an OBGYN, okay? So we all know we're in a rural area. There's sometimes we go places we don't even see a gas station, but you need to be able to find your nearest OBGYN and the nearest hospital to you, okay? And you need to be able to understand what types of deliveries do they do there. For instance, at Carolina Pines, we do not do high-risk care. So if you're under the gestational age of 32 weeks, we'll have to send you over here to my partner, Dr. Coughlin, so that his team can take care of you, because they have a neonatal intensive care unit, which I'll get into in a little bit. The other thing you need to do is identify your current and past medical history. Sometimes we walk around and say, I feel great, but your blood pressure is 200/110. You may feel great, but when is the last time you actually had a physical? When is the last time you actually saw a doctor? Plenty of us as young, healthy women in our reproductive age, we get pregnant, and we don't know the other medical issues that we've had before pregnancy, and those things start to show up. And then you have those of you that if you're already on medication, can you still take this medication while you're pregnant? There's some blood pressure medication that you can't take while you're pregnant. There's some medications that we help to stabilize our mood that you should not take while you're pregnant. So these are questions that you have to search for within yourself as well as with your physician to see if these are something that we need to eliminate before we get pregnant. And like I mentioned, evaluation by a primary care doctor. Yeah, we used to go get those physicals right before we had to go do sports, or we used to go see the doctor because you sprained your ankle or you had a runny nose. But I really encourage you all to get to a primary care physician that you trust so that you can be able to go over your medical history in order to know if it's safe for you to be pregnant at this time. Excuse me. And then, so another thing is that some of us don't have insurance to be at the doctor. I don't want to spend $100 copay. I understand that. So if you go to the emergency room and they tell you, hey ma'am, your blood pressure is a little elevated, check on that when you get a chance. Those are things that you need to put in the back of your mind when you're considering pregnancy. Like, that doctor did tell me one time to check on my blood pressure, or that doctor did tell me one time that I was spilling protein in my urine, or something. If they told you to follow up when you just went into the emergency room because you bumped your head, please follow up so that we can know exactly what's going on. Another important history is prior pregnancy. I love that you know little Johnny was 6 pounds, 12 ounces, 22 inches, born at 3 a.m. That's perfect. But what happened during that pregnancy? Did you have to work on your blood pressure? Did you not pass your sugar test? Did you have to be induced with little Johnny? All of those Did we say, hey, your blood pressure is really high, so I'm going to have to start you on medicine? Or did we say, hey, your sugar test, you didn't pass that, so we're going to need a new test? All of these are important questions. Okay, so I mentioned, I mentioned meeting with a primary care doctor, but there's also something where you can do with us as an obstetrician and gynecologist and do what's called preconception counseling. So you can come in and you can say, hey doc, I'm thinking about having a little Virgo baby. That's Virgo again. I'm thinking about having a little Virgo baby. How can we do that? So you come into your obstetrician and gynecologist and we will go over your past medical history. We will go over your medication. We will go over your past pregnancies so that we can identify risk factors or things that can negatively impact you or your baby as the pregnancy goes on, okay? We also will discuss with you ways to improve your overall health. So maybe we get on some blood pressure medication, we regulate our blood pressure so it's good and well controlled before we get pregnant, or we go ahead and lose that 10 pounds that we've been trying to lose all summer so that we can put ourselves in a better position to deliver. Because we know the average weight in pregnancy that most women gain is 20 to 30 pounds. And if you're already on the overweight side, that can definitely put you at risk during pregnancy for things like stillbirth, for high blood pressure, for preeclampsia, for gestational diabetes. So all of these things are something to consider. My biggest point to you is that pregnancy is not benign. Yes, we get these beautiful babies, but if you can put your best foot forward to start this race, then we can finish it well. Okay, so when I'm talking about your OBGYN, the question is what is your relationship with your OBGYN? So a lot of times, yeah, we moving, we grooving, we're not really sitting down and connecting with you all, but it is our goal to be able to convey to you the best care that we can. So if you find that you can't speak with your doctor about your concerns, if you find that your questions are not being answered appropriately, please be an advocate for yourself. So if this is not the physician for you, then please search out someone that you feel that you're going to be comfortable with. Pregnancy is a long time. Them visits get real long, okay? And so you don't want to be in the office with someone that you're not comfortable with, that you feel like their questions are not being answered, that you feel like their concerns are not being addressed, okay? Also, asking your OBGYN, so what type of delivery do you do? You know, so all of us are not the same. Some people don't do the same thing, okay? So, for instance, there are some people that we had prior C-section before, and now you want to push for vaginal delivery. There are some doctors that may not be comfortable with you having a vaginal delivery after a C-section. So that's a question for your doctor. But again, knowing your history. So why did you have to have a C-section, okay? If it was because the baby's blood pressure was up or the baby was too big, then those are conversations that you're able to have with your doctor so that you all can get to a happy medium as to what would be best for you. And like I mentioned on another slide, optimizing your prior medical history. Let's get that blood pressure under control. Let's get that A1C or your diabetes regulated. And let's get to a good weight so that if we gain 20 to 30 pounds, we're not having such a bad effect on the pregnancy. All right, the marathon continues. So this next slide is just talking about the trimester. So us as OBGYNs, we talk in weeks, okay? So you'll hear us say you're 24 weeks, you're 36 weeks, because that gives us an idea of when we should do the testing. That gives us an idea of when we should do certain ultrasounds. And so when we're talking about trimesters, there are 3 trimesters in pregnancy. And so you have your first trimester from week 1 to week 13, your second trimester, week 14 to week 27, and your third trimester, week 28 to week 40, okay? And so when your doctor is talking to you, you can always ask them how many weeks am I, so that you can have an understanding of your gestational age is what we call it. But just to give you a point of reference, your due date puts you at 40 weeks. Okay? So whatever your due date is, if you were to count backwards, then that's how you're able to figure out how many weeks you you are. And so some people, you turn another week every Tuesday or every Friday, but that's how you're able to keep up with your weeks. All right, so I am pregnant, now what? So a lot of times things happen and we don't remember when we got pregnant. But if you can try to point out when was your last menstrual period, the first day of your last menstrual period. I don't know, Doc, I got a regular period. Okay, girl, cool. Please get into my office as soon as possible because I would like to get an ultrasound on you in the first trimester because that allows me to give the most accurate dating that I can. So if you can't remember your last menstrual period, you don't know any of those days, what I need you to do is try to get into the office as soon as possible so that we can get you that ultrasound, okay? Pregnancy is about 41 weeks long. That's 287 days, okay? So each trimester, like I said, is broken up into 13 weeks. And another important point as to you want to be with someone that you like. You don't want to spend 41 weeks with someone like, I can't stand, I ain't going to that appointment, I ain't got nothing to do with that. All right? Important to keep all your appointments with the OBGYN. Even if you don't feel good, it's still important for you to come in because there could be something going on that if we catch it early enough, we can try to offset any bad things from happening during the pregnancy. All the appointments that you have, it allows us to be able to track out if there's any changes in your weight, any changes in your blood pressure, if you're starting to spill anything into your urine, because there are some things during pregnancy that don't necessarily show themselves until you're a little bit further along. So if I haven't seen you since your first visit and then you show up to me at 36 weeks, you already messing up the team. You've already handicapped me to be able to help you because I don't know what's happened between your first visit and now you're here at 36 weeks. So please, please, please try to make all your appointments as much as you can so that we can be able to offset any bad problems. All right, so in the first trimester, we have the development of the major organs. The heart starts beating at 21 days. You also have rapid development or rapid growth in the size of the uterus. In the second trimester, that's where we get to what's called viability. So that's 24 weeks. So you all have seen those TikToks where it's like, I had my baby at 24 weeks and it was fine. That's not ideal, okay? 24 weeks, yes, we can do a lot of things to try to keep your baby here, but if we can keep you pregnant even longer, that's even better. But 24 weeks is what we call viability, meaning that the baby has all the parts that it needs. It just does not have the weight that we require, and so sometimes we have to feed them and breathe for them for an extended period of time, okay? And so whenever they reach viability, that's where you have a neonatologist or a pediatrician that's there to care for them afterward. The third trimester, that's the beauty trimester, right? So you're 34 weeks, the baby has everything that it needs to survive. Those babies are not routinely kept in the NICU for too long unless there's something else going on. 37 weeks is full term. So if y'all remember I said 40 weeks is your due date. 3 weeks from that, 37 weeks, that's when you're full term. So you can deliver a baby at 37 weeks, albeit nothing else is going on, and that baby is usually really healthy. Ideally, if you're like, it's hot in South Carolina, I need to get this baby out. Routinely, we don't do that till 39 weeks, okay? And so you come to your doctor, and you're like, I'm just tired of being pregnant. The only time that we can actively help you to deliver or induce your labor is at 39 weeks. And so that would be 1 week from your due date. So that's something that you desire. 40 to 41 weeks is usually when delivery is recommended. So those TikToks where this girl's like, I'm 43 weeks pregnant and my baby ain't come yet, no ma'am. Okay? That placenta is dying. That placenta is old. That baby's not getting what it needs. So between 40 and 41 weeks, we recommend delivery because the placenta is not supplying the baby with all the nutrients that it needs. Okay? So don't keep your baby in there that long. All right, statistics. So the whole reason why this is so important is because of how prematurity can affect the mom, the baby, and the family overall. So prematurity refers to the time So that will be one of the very important things that you need to tell your physician or your OBGYN, hey, I had a baby at 24 weeks. Because then that way, during this pregnancy, we can make sure that does not happen again, or try our best to offset it. Common causes of prematurity is, what does mom have going on, right? Did you get your blood pressure checked before you got pregnant? Did you get your sugar levels good? Did you lose that 10 pounds, okay? Or baby medical conditions. Is the baby not growing appropriately? Does the baby have any anomalies or anything that didn't develop right? Or complications of pregnancy. So there are some people that can develop preeclampsia, or they can develop other medical conditions that tells us as physicians it's safer for us to go ahead and deliver your baby rather than to keep you pregnant. So prematurity. 1 in 10 newborns are born premature. Preterm birth rate was as high as 10.4% in 2021. Black women have a rate of preterm birth at 14.6% versus our white women that are 9.4% and Hispanic women at 10.1%, right? So the question is why? Why black women are having poorer outcomes? Why black women are having preterm babies? Why are black women dying during delivery? So I can't answer the why, but I can say that if we put our best foot forward and you work with an OBGYN that you trust and that understands you and that listens to you, then we all can work together to decrease that maternal morbidity and mortality that this country is suffering in right now. Other risk factors for prematurity are low birth weight, smoking, substance abuse, short interval pregnancy. Okay, that's a big thing. So we gotta let the uterus heal, okay? We done had a baby, we done pushed this baby out, we done had a C-section. Oh, it's so cute when they back to back sometimes, but that can also put you at a bad spot in this race of pregnancy. We want you to have at least 18 months between delivery and your pregnancy, okay? Things happen. We don't all like birth control, but those things can happen. So lastly, the things I want to talk about is just maternal mortality. So black women, the mortality rate is about 50.3 deaths per 100,000 live births. Okay? In comparison, whites are 14.5 deaths, Hispanics are 12.4. Also, we know that mortality is higher in the older age population, where with our age 40 or above, 59.8% of those women can, per 100% of 100,000 births, can experience death. So, any questions? Takeaway points will be, so the paper in front of you, I put homework on there. I love giving you all homework. So on there, it asks you, what is your past medical history? What was your previous pregnancies like? Who is your OBGYN? Where can you deliver? If you were to have your baby early, where will your baby go? So these are all questions that you can ask your physician and also ask yourself or your other primary care doctors about your medical problems. Because if you're on certain medicines, then we may need to be able to get off of those. Oh, yes, ma'am. Good evening. Great question. So you're technically in what we call the 4th trimester. So what we try to do, or what my personal practice is that I try to see my moms at 3 weeks and 6 weeks. And so at that time, we are talking about breastfeeding. So there are different lactation consultants that are available either online or through different Facebook groups to help you with the breastfeeding. When it comes to like your skin care, I am not very familiar with skin, but I think that allowing yourself some grace to allow your hormones to completely get out of your body, because Even though you're postpartum, it at least takes about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks for your body to completely reset to not feeling pregnant anymore or recognize that you're not pregnant anymore. So there are some people where, for instance, you've never had any blood pressure problems, but now that you're not pregnant, your blood pressure is still up. But sometimes within that window, your body is still recognizing itself as being pregnant. Question? Oh, yes, ma'am.
So piggyback off of the lactation and stuff like that, if you run out of, let's say you run out of milk, because I just recently had my baby's not even a full month yet, and I ran out of milk, how do I stimulate my test to make more, produce more?
Okay, so her question was about breastfeeding and making sure that she continues to have a letdown. So whenever you are breastfeeding, we call it like a supply and demand type thing. So if your breast milk is not coming in as much or your supply is not as much, then your body will shut it down on its own. There are some medicines off-label used that can help your breast milk production to increase, and then there are also some holistic measures as well to increase your breast milk production. And again, those Facebook groups like Breastfeeding Mom, Black Moms That Love to Breastfeed, all of them have different treatment options between primrose oil, increasing your water intake, massaging, hooking yourself up to a manual breast pump. All of those things can